5 NFL teams refused to pay tribute to Charlie Kirk during their games. The reason behind the last team's refusal was unexpected. First, the Detroit Lions. Regarding whether to honor Charlie, the NFL has no explicit rules, so the Lions chose not to get involved at all. Meanwhile, the Packers in the same division held a moment of silence before kickoff. Second, the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals opted not to pay tribute to Charlie. Many fans saw this as reflecting the team owner's stance. As a result, many vowed to boycott the team. The Steelers, also in the same division, did not hold a moment of silence either, but they lowered the flag during the game. Third, the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens took a cautious approach. However, after 7 home teams in the NFL held moments of silence for Charlie, the Ravens faced significant controversy and criticism. Fourth, the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings also did not hold a moment of silence. Yet historically, the team rarely refused to honor others in this way, which sparked displeasure among fans. Fifth, the Indianapolis Colts. Among the 5 teams that did not pay tribute to Charlie, only the Colts responded to the situation. The team explained that they had planned last month to hold a moment of silence for the late Forrest Lucas. 5 NFL teams
This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 9, starting at verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. And as we get closer and closer to the end of Esau's rule, we are seeing more and more division, and the vision is becoming clearer and clearer of civil war, and all out chaos in these streets of Babylon, man. First and foremost, before I get started, I want to thank Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson, and I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS who teach and rule well, who taught me this truth. Salutation, you brothers and sisters that are out there listening and learning, fighting this good fight of faith. And salutation to my fellow brethren that are pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. To you all, I want to say shalom. And open prayer that this quick lesson be edifying to the elect. So I was actually scrolling on TikTok and came across a bunch of I'll just say CK, I'm talking about different, opinions and what have you, and this, and if they decide to do another event, whether it was real or not, I don't know, we'll see, but the effect of it is very real. There's people that are on the right, that are on CK's side, that love them and all that stuff, and they're crying, and then there's ex-military that want to move, and then you got people on the left or that didn't like him, say that's what he deserved it. And so there's a clear divide in Babylon, man, a huge divide. It was already there. Now this situation has opened up the wound, so to speak, and put salt in it, so this is from Rolling Stone. I'll read a little bit of this, and just for you listeners, I'm gonna be saying CK because they want to be flagging people and stuff like that and all that, so I'm not going to say his name like that, So this is from Rolling Stones. It was published actually today. Yep. September 16th, 2025, the hopeful year of the deliverance to the elected nation of Israel, and the hopeful year of destruction and judgment to Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And we're seeing it's coming, the boiling, when you boil water, we was already seeing the bubbles starting to rise. Now it's starting to become a raging boil, man. Things are coming to a head, and it's beautiful, man. That's why the scriptures say we have a sure word of prophecy, man. So we already know the end result of all this infighting, you know, and it's gonna be ugly, you know. It's gonna lead to Jacob's trouble. It's gonna lead to a time such as never was, as there was a nation, since there was a nation. Excuse me. The days are indeed evil that we're entering into, man. So it says NFL teams that didn't honor CK face the wrath of conservatives. It says the outrage comes after years of right-wingers complaining that the league should stay away from politics altogether. So even that, you know, even that in itself, so they're on the right, we're complaining that the league should stay away from politics. And then when they want politics introduced, then they complain. This is the backwards, upside down mind of a caveman, of Edomites, man. So-called white people. They're just like children, man. You know? Oh, so I just had the whole. Anyway, I'll just read this little bit. The far right political influencer CK was deleted. Well, you already know that part. But anyway, I literally just had the article up there, but it's all good. But you know, there's been people getting fired, you know, from their jobs. Matter of fact, let's see. Let's do this. Let's do this. Give me 1 second. Here we go. I'm not gonna play the videos, but you know, you see it. Companies are firing and suspending. People are facing backlash after posting things about him, you know, saying, you know, they're happy and what have you. Many people have been fired for their views. So yeah, so I mean, you know, we're seeing a clear divide in this country, man. It's been divided, and it's only continuing to escalate. Let's get some scriptures. Let's see, and I'll wrap it up. Let me see where we at. Did I pull it up? Let's go to Isaiah 19:2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. Right here we are in modern day Egypt, right? Spiritual Egypt. And these Egyptians are fighting against each other, man. You got Elder Menata Zakba just did a video yesterday. You got Jakes over here, you know, praying, you know, for their enemy, and then you got Jakes that are celebrating it. So even in that, you got Edomites that are, you know, praying for, you know, CK, and then you have Edomites that are celebrating. So, you know, these Egyptians are fighting one against another. And it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight, everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And this is the time that we're entering into, man. 2 Ezra 15:16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And what I was thinking about, you know, putting this lesson together was the movie Civil War that came out just last year. You know, let me see. Can I don't know if I can mute it on here. I don't want to get a strike or anything. Oh, let me turn it on here. Let me do it that way. I don't own the rights to this movie. You know, this is fair use. Fair use is for educational purposes. So, you know, when you see this movie and you see that these soldiers, American soldiers, are fighting against other American soldiers, look at that, shooting at, what is that, the Capitol building? You know, so I mean, this is a sight that will be very realistic in the very near future, man. Because you got these military men retired and still active, you know, and they're ready. A lot of them, you know, they're ready to you know, they're disgusted by the way people are talking about this man. Then you got on the other side people that, you know, are saying, you know, people should be able to say whatever they want. Free speech is a concept for, you know, First Amendment right. So you have a bunch of opinions from a different people on different sides, man. And this is supposed to be United States, right? But this is clearly, you know, the divided states of America, man, of Babylon, you know. And what does the Lord say about this division? Let's get it. Actually, I'll just go straight to the point. This is Mark 3:24 in the NLT. A kingdom divided by civil war will collapse, man. So you can't be having some kind of a kingdom, you know, fighting against itself. It doesn't work, you know. It will collapse, and that's exactly what's happening. We're seeing the beginnings of it as we speak, man. You know, the prophecies are indeed alive, and they're speaking, and they're coming to fruition right before our very eyes, man. So let's get let me see. Let me get another one. So let me turn that off. And you can see scriptures like this, Matthew 24:12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, man. You know, so I mean, just in the fact that the way CK was talking, you know, if I'm not gonna play any of the clips, but the way he was talking when he was still on, you know, on Earth, he was, you know, spewing, you know, all type of hatred, right? So now, when people on the other side are saying, "Oh, well, that's good for him," you know, and all that, he deserves it. All these things they're saying. Now the ones that support him are up in arms, so you can see the fire building up, man. You know, and I'll say this to you, you know, sincere brothers and sisters, man, as the scriptures say in Ephesians. Let me go back. In Ephesians 5, because we gotta be wise out here, man. Ephesians 5, 5, and 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, right? Circum meaning circle, right? Spec meaning to look around, watch your surroundings, keep your head on a swivel, not as fools but as wise, right? The scriptures say wisdom should meet you with every thought, right? So you don't need to be out here talking about this, you know, with your co-workers, with your boss and supervisor. Don't say anything. Just if they ask you, like, I don't have an opinion on it, or I don't, just play stupid. I don't know. I haven't, you know, I heard about it, but I haven't really looked it up, so I can't speak on it. And just call it a day, right? Because a lot of, you know, people are so, you know, people are losing their jobs over it, man, for social media posts, man. You know, so, you know, and people, you know, like Trump is you know, basically, you know, being a hypocrite as usual. The politician that was assassinated in her home with her husband, Holman. Let me see, Slovakia. Here we go, Slovakia. Yeah, yesterday, Trump was asked why didn't he lower flags for the Melissa Hortman, which is a Democrat, when she was assassinated, and her husband in their house. And he said, you know, basically he didn't know, and the governor should have asked, and this, that, and the third. But right here it says Trump orders flags flown half-staff following CK deletion. You know, So that left-right, divide, he's continuing to, escalate that, you know. So it's only going to lead to more destruction in these coming days, man. And we'll see, So let's see. Let's get what Yahawashi said. This is Matthew 24. Start at 3. And as he sat, Yahawashi, upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, what shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And the end of the world is Esau's world. It's not the whole entire inhabited planet, because the scriptures say that the earth abideth forever. It's talking about this rulership, this current evil, wicked rule under Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. They're asking, in that time, talking about the Romans, which this is the revised Roman Empire that we live in now. Rome with an iPhone, And it says, 4th verse, and Yahawashi answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, right? That's what we're seeing, the beginnings of what's been happening, but we're seeing it starting to escalate even more. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And all of these things brothers have been reporting on constantly through the spirit and power of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All of these things are happening. All these are the beginning of sorrow. So that's exactly the times that we're entering into. So it's no time to, be, pussyfooting around, so to speak, man. 2nd Esdras 15 and 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So this is the time that we're coming into, man. A kingdom divided by civil war shall not stand, man. They're coming, literally shooting at each other. They're shooting at each other. The same army within the same country. So how can a kingdom like this stand, man, when it's fighting against itself? So all praise to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, man. Esau is through, his kingdom's through. This is all, coming to a head, and it's gonna end disastrously for these Edomites, man. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope and pray this lesson was edifying to your elect. In closing, I want to thank Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi once again for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi Bahasham Rakakadash. I give double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS who teach and rule well, who taught me his truth. Salutations, you brothers and sisters that out there listening and learning. Fighting is good fight of faith. Keep fighting, keep striving, keep pushing. We're almost out of this bitch. And salutations to my fellow brethren that are pushing his word in all truth and sincerity. To all, I want to say shalom, ababa ball, and kwam yasharala. Hey, shalom. To the next one.